Greetings, everyone. Thank you for tuning in Team Forbidden's YouTube page. It is me, Andrew the Collector, here with a deck that I was really excited for, Counter Fairies. We finally got the Structure Deck Wave Light in this week, and I'm excited to showcase my deck profile for it. I haven't had a lot of experience with Counter Fairies, but I'm just hoping that this build is at least subpar. But from what I've done by playtesting it, it does relatively decent. So let's get right into it. First, we have the 3 Guiding Area, Bountiful Artemis. Every time a counter trap is activated, you draw 1 card, and it's not once per turn. Obviously, must have as 3. And we have 3 of the new Minerva, Scholar of the Sky. Each time a counter trap is activated, it gains 500 attack, and if you have Sanctuary in the Sky, you can add a counter trap from your graveyard to your hand. Good recycling too. Then we have 3 Power Angel Valkyria. She's also really good because if I negate a spell or card monster effect, I can add a light fairy type monster from my deck to my hand. Plus she is a good beater. And yeah.
I should have some at home, but
next we have the Heart and Soul Guardian Ariadne. Literally, when she's in the Pendulum Zone and you activate a counter trap, there's no cost to be had. So yeah, no less than 3. And we have 2 of the new Parshath. I only run 2 because it's bricky at 3, but you want multiple copies because you can special summon him easily with the new counter trap. He does piercing, and every time he inflicts battle damage, you can add a counter trap from your deck to your hand. And then we have the Heralds. We have 3 orange and 2 green. I run 3 orange because I feel monster effects, especially Ash, is more dangerous than spell cards against this deck because you have so many ways to negate spells and traps, and not as many ways to negate monster effects, so I feel like 3 and 2 is a good ratio. And I run the purple one in the side deck. And then we have 1 Sage of the Sky, good life point gainer, and yeah, just good at just 1. And then 1 Eva from Wally. Just kidding. It works really well with Heralds because when you activate Herald's effect and you send Eva to the graveyard, the monster negation will go through, and when it's sent to the graveyard, you can banish it 2 other fairy type monsters to add another Herald orange and a Herald green from your deck to your hand, so good consistency there. But only at 1 because you only run the 5 Heralds, and if you run out of Heralds and you have this in your hand, it's kind of bricky. That's it for the monsters. Now onto the spells, which is very little. We have the Sanctuary of Parshath. My biggest peeve with this is that it's not a field spell, so it's not as consistent or searchable as the regular Sanctuary in the Sky. But nonetheless, it's treated as Sanctuary in the Sky. It gives good protection and good boosting, no less than 3. I don't run the field spell Sanctuary in the Sky because I don't know. I just don't like the feeling of having to search for the field spell. But I mean, that's just my personal opinion. If you want to run the field spell, you can. It's no harm done. But especially in this build, I don't really find it too flattering. But that's just my opinion. And if you don't like my opinion, then I don't care. Next up is 3 Pot of Duality to help with consistency. It's duality. I don't run Desires because I am fearful that I would banish too many of my counter traps and then I'm dead in the water. So duality is good. That's it for the spells. Now on to the bulk of the deck, which is obviously the counter traps. 3 Rebirth of Parshath. It's Solemn Judgment basically. Negating monsters, or not Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike and Dark Bribe. Oh, I can't speak today. Discard a card, pay 1,000 life points to negate a monster spell or trap effect, and you could special summon a Parshath monster from your deck or extra deck. So if you have the Synchro monster, unfortunately I do not, run that too. Then we have Ultimate Providence. This is the one that's basically Solemn Judgment. Especially with Guiding Ariadne, pretty much negate anything for free. Then we have the Solemn Brigade, obviously. I only run 2 strikes because I can't find the room for the other one, because this is a 40 card deck. If I want to bump it up to 42, I'd probably put it in, but this seems like a good ratio. And then 2 Dark Bribe, it's Dark Bribe. And then 2 Drastic Drop Off. Basically a third of Ash Blossom. So yeah, it's really good. And now on to the extra deck. The extra deck is kind of iffy for me because you don't find yourself going into it very often. So all I have are just rank 4 monsters, you know, basic ones, and then 2 link monsters. You could run other things, like I said, the Synchro Parshath monster, and maybe if you have a tuner in the deck, you can run some Synchro monsters, but I don't find myself going into the extra deck very often, so I'm comfortable with just having a basic rank 4 toolbox. And that's all for Counter Fairies. You can basically make this deck on a budget with just the structure deck, because you get enough of it to begin with. Because you get the Heralds, you get the Parshaths, you get the Guided Ariadnes, and all the counter traps that you could want for it. Or you could go Card Demise build where you run little monsters and a bunch of back row. That works too, but I like this deck, or this build. I'm comfortable with it. It seems to fit with my playstyle personally fairly well. So yeah, thank you for tuning in for this week's deck profile. If you have any requests for deck profiles that you want to see in the future, please comment down below or message us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or whatever, and we will catch you guys later.